Hello everybody, it's Mark. So I recorded this video twice, but for some reason it didn't want to save it. So yeah, this is the third time. I'll try to make it sound like I recorded for the first time. So let's start. The game is shit. But no, seriously, only 5 chapters. Sure, if it's a spin-off which was never specified, then that's fine. But in my country, this game costs almost as a full game. And it's pretty pricey, if I'll be honest. So yeah, that's in my opinion it's a major flaw. Like, it's a short, never specified spin-off, so I was shocked that it's only 5 chapters. And I remember people were speculating like how much there are chapters, 10, 12, and then it's actually 5, and they're fine with it. So it's weird that it has like overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. And listen, I played every Yakuza except for the zombie one, so you can tell that I'm a fan, and I should be invincible to Yakuza fans' hate. What I have to say is that I started criticizing this series more and more after I played Ishin last time, and now Gaiden, and there are a lot of flaws in this series, and I started noticing them after 11, 12 games. But let's talk about the good stuff first. New combat style is super fun, especially after you get those rocket shoes with which you can knock over enemies like they are bowling pins. And this skill doesn't have any cooldown, so you can tell that it's very balanced. Also, you got this wire gadget, so you're basically a Spider-Man. I also really like the idea of this particular story, Kiryu being a man without a name, and the very dramatic conclusion that I even kinda had some tears over my eyes. It was very touchy scene and very well directed. But that's it, if I'll be honest. Most people probably won't start playing the series from this game, right? So that means that Steam's overwhelmingly positive reviews were written by fans of Yakuza games. So when you have to criticize something that has a very strong fan base, you have to talk about it in a positive way. So, well, listen, I'll try. So yeah, most people won't start playing from this game, right? Most people started playing from Yakuza 0. That means whoever wrote a positive review for this game is a fan of Yakuza series already. And yeah, when I first started playing Yakuza games, it was a very unique experience, especially if you got used to Western games and if you fell in love with the series from Yakuza 0, as most Western players did. You most likely will overlook any flaws with those games. And after playing like 11, 12 games, I cannot stop seeing many flaws of the series, so I'm more open now about criticizing it. Let's talk about Kiryu's hidden identity in this game. So you're telling me that this guy didn't go over any appearance changes and continues doing some shady work for shady organizations in the same locations as before? I mean, how is it a hidden identity? It's the same guy with the same voice, beats everyone on the streets, but he wears shades now. Are you telling me that no one was supposed to recognize him just because he wears shades and has a different name? Even almost every character knows who Joryu is. Almost everyone recognizes that this is Kiryu. And even in a next game, when the writers finally changed his appearance and his identity once more, story characters still recognize him. I played demo of Infinite Wealth, and in 40 minutes story demo, 2 characters know who he is. So it's kinda lame that developers don't want to commit to this idea of Kiryu being a guy with no name. They don't really want to hide his identity because it could create some cool drama, and it did create some cool drama, but only in the last scene of Gaiden. And the whole idea of making Kiryu's return kinda diminishes his final chapter in Yakuza 6, and now for sure he will star in more games because there is no way he's dying again, even to cancer. But yeah, I hope that they brought Kiryu back to make his death more dramatic. That would be cool and something that people will remember. but I don't think the developers have guts for this. Overall, it kinda ruins this dramatic conclusion that Yakuza 6 had, and I think it's because they had to make Kiryu return to the series, because in his place was supposed to be Yagami from Judgment, but the actor who played Yagami was told by his agency that he cannot play any future roles in Yakuza series, but that's just a theory. Again! My second complaint is last Kiryu game was fully voiced. It had every line, every side story completely voiced, which was amazing. So in my opinion, the least that they could have done in Kiryu's next game is voice everything again, especially if it's a smaller scale game with only one region available. But they didn't. So those are my two main complaints about this game. There are a lot of overarching complaints that are consistent throughout the series, like for example, almost every scene is about exposition dumping, which makes every character a bland no one because all they do is talk about the lore. Sure, there are a lot of dialogues, but a lot of dialogues is not equal good story or good writing. Because if I'll be honest, this series struggles a lot with writing. But I will probably talk about those problems in some other video. Maybe I will create something separate. But yeah, I'm not saying that Gaiden is a bad game. It's enjoyable as every Yakuza game is. Yeah, I'm just saying that this game has a lot of story flaws. It has the same flaws as other Yakuzas. It just, I think it's important to recognize those flaws and not make this, yeah, whatever. It's a small game for such a big price, and I really thought that there will be like first few chapters you are in Sutton and next 5 chapters you are in Yokohama, because they literally blue balled me when they showed Yokohama in the first chapter. Yeah, and I fucking hate it because what the fuck? Yeah, so I really expected Yokohama to be a playable area, especially if we count that Kiryu was never in Yokohama. So yeah, whatever. They yeah, it's a short game with a really big price and weird story, but I enjoyed it anyway.